everybody, we're going on a bit of an adventure today. As you can hear, I've got a couple of very unhappy passengers with me. Today we are taking a couple of barn cats to go get fixed because I am one litter away from crazy cat lady status, and you can tell that by whenever you walk out of Tractor Supply and you have the 50-pound bag of cat food. That's when you know you're close. So no more litters, no more kittens. These two ladies are going to go get fixed today. I took the day off work. I figured I'd just make a day out of it because this place is a little bit of a drive for us. So we're going to check out a new antique mall, and I figured I'd bring you guys along. We'll see what we can find. Let's go. This first place we went was so cute. It was definitely very curated, and the prices reflected that, unfortunately. So I didn't buy much here, but they did have this tabletop grain mill, and I have wanted one of these for so long. This one was in such good condition. I think they wanted $200 for it though, so did not buy that. I'm hoping to be able to find one that's a little bit cheaper, but they just had everything decorated so cute, and it was definitely really inspirational to come here. They just had all this gorgeous stuff and all this beautiful furniture that was definitely my taste. Unfortunately, most of the stuff was just a little bit out of my budget, which, you know, you could kind of expect when they spend this much time putting stuff together. They also had this really cool kind of junk refurb pile that I thought was really cool. I love that door, but it was already sold. All right, switching to a different store now. They had this thing, I don't know what it was, but it was cool. It was 145 bucks though. But yeah, it definitely had a really cool finish to it. That little chair would look really cool if you were going for like the primitive look. Those Clabber Girl printing plates were pretty cool too. This was supposed to be a bread maker. I had never seen one before. It was 69 bucks. It says early 1900s. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I thought that was pretty neat. There's good old George Washington down there, and a pretty neat looking clock. I don't spend a whole lot of time in the glass cases, mostly because I don't want to have to go get somebody to get something out of them. But yeah, this store, they also had a great selection of stoneware. They had tons of crocks. I'm on the hunt for a butter bell. I wasn't able to find one. I found the bell separate from the crock, and then I found crocks without the lids. So I'm still on the hunt for one of them. You literally never know what you're going to find at these places. What is that? Now, these crosscut saws, I was excited to find. I've been looking for these for a minute. Whenever I'm antiquing, I'm not only looking for cute stuff to decorate my house with, I'm also looking for primitive tools that I can add to my prepper kit. Pretty much anything that would be useful if there was no electricity or gasoline, I'm always snagging that stuff up, always trying to think of what else could be useful, what else could we need if that situation arises. So this was another store that we went to, and you can always tell how good it's going to be if there's all this crap on the outside to sort through. That's how you know it's going to be good on the inside too. This place had a great selection of old books. I wasn't able to sort through many of them, didn't have time, but one of my all-time favorite antiquing finds was this 1800s geography book. It's just absolutely gorgeous. The cover on it is so pretty. They also had these prints that caught my eye here. This store also had one of those grain mills. I think some pieces were missing. It didn't look quite right. They were asking $145 for it, which is probably reasonable, but it wasn't quite what I was looking for, so I passed on it. And this booth had all kinds of stuff. Some of the stuff I ended up having to add to my list of things to research. I wasn't quite sure what all of these things were, but just tons of stuff to look through. Here's a pretty nice hatchet. And this booth, I could immediately tell these were my kind of people. I liked everything that was in this booth. Lots of tools and different types of cooking ware. They had a bunch of little lamps that were pretty cool. I didn't buy any of them though. Lots of tools hanging up on the wall here and some stirrups. This is a pretty good example of a stereoscope. This is kind of the original viewfinder, if you remember those from the 80s and 90s. Coffee grinders are pretty cool. I like the way they look. I just don't have anywhere to put them. I almost bought this little like tin box, but I couldn't think of anywhere to put it, but I really liked the way that it looked. They also had some pretty nice oil lamps here. Their price was a little high though, so I passed on them. And I really like this copper tub. Of course, it was $55. Those tubs are always super expensive, but I'd love to put that in the yard with some flowers growing in it. I think that would look really pretty. I thought these milk cans being in such good condition was kind of a rarity. They were $75, so they were pretty pricey, but usually whenever I find milk cans, they're usually super rusted, but those are in great condition. Those will look great on a porch with some flowers inside. And here's another booth where I immediately could tell that these were my kind of people. Lots of tools here. Here's some foot traps. We actually have some foot traps. I tried to catch a fox with them a couple of years ago after I caught it eating my favorite rooster. I was out for vengeance, but of course foxes are like impossible to catch. And here is a crosscut saw blade. It was only 10 bucks. And I did end up buying that. You'll see that in the haul later. But they just had all kinds of shovels and things. And there's a scythe handle up there. There's just a ton of stuff to look at. Lots of different types of saw blades. That lantern was pretty cool. But what caught my eye here was this old ringer. This was 20 bucks, I believe, and just an old hand crank ringer for drying your clothes out. I thought that was pretty cool. Those spindles are neat too. Yeah, this booth was just full of all kinds of tools, lots of stuff to dig through. Here's more of a decorative booth. You could tell their style was more of like the primitive style. They had some pretty cute stuff here to look at. What caught my eye here was this little wood cutout of an Amish couple. I thought these were so precious. They came as a set. As you can see here, it was only $7.50 for the pair. Which is a really good price, but the primitive, like Americana stuff, not really my style, but I do appreciate it. That was super cute. Not gonna lie, I thought about buying this little Conestoga wagon so I could hitch up my Pomeranian dogs to it and have them carry my stuff around. I feel like at every antique store, you'll find these little salesman samples of these little cast iron stoves. They're so cute, but I see those everywhere. And this I thought was pretty cool. It's a corn hand planter. I've never seen one of those before. It's Acme brand. There's a little saw back there. And it seems like at every antique store, I also see these bed warmers. That thing where it looks like the lid to a pan with a stick on it. Those are pretty cool. Here's another scythe. This one still has the label on it, which is pretty neat. Can't tell how old it is though. They were asking 20 bucks for it. I did end up picking up a different scythe, but this one was in pretty good shape too. And this, I actually had to research later. It was described as a tool. They were only asking 15 bucks for it, but that's apparently a bush axe for cutting up limbs and roots. So it must be pretty sharp because they taped it up. This I thought was pretty cool too. This is a butter churn per the label. I've never seen a butter churn that looks like a barrel like this. They're asking 150 bucks for it, so it must be decently rare. But I thought that just looks so neat. And this is for all my vintage Pyrex people out there. They had a pretty decent selection. And this, I thought this would look so pretty in an entryway. They're asking 150 bucks for it, which was a little bit steep because it's going to need to be completely stripped and refinished. But I thought that would be so pretty with a little cushion on the middle. I loved this cowgirl sign with the rest on it. Oh, it's so cool. 100 bucks. This singer table was so pretty. I would love to have a singer table like this. Here's another stereoscope. This one's in a little worse condition than the other one I saw. And this was one of the better booths at this particular store. Actually, I think this was a flea market. I don't think it was an antique mall, but they had a bunch of really neat stuff. Several really nice looking lanterns. There's a big old butter churn there. We've got a water spigot, a horse collar. Those horse collars are really neat. Coffee grinder. I liked that giant tub of lard there. I thought that was pretty cool. I've never seen one that big. Another lantern, some flour sifters. What really caught my eye though was this ringer. It was $140 and I see why, because it was in great condition. It was the full thing. And yeah, it was just in really nice shape. Someone tell me what this grinder is for. It was only $3. I probably should have bought it. The only thing I can think of is maybe for chopping up dried herbs. But yeah, it's really tiny and kind of dainty. I don't know what it would be a grinder for. So, but they had a bunch of kitchen tools like that, including this wall-mounted grinder. I thought that was pretty cool. They wanted 28 bucks for it though. If this butter crock came with the lid, I 100% would have bought it. I think that is so cute. So it's been a couple of weeks since the footage you just watched, and I've taken a couple of extra trips since then. So now I'm going to show you what I actually bought. So let's start with the biggest stuff. So this big one here, this is a scythe. And what scythes are used for is to mow hay or to harvest things like wheat, essentially just to weed whip anything, any type of vegetation. It's in pretty good shape for how old it is. The handles are solid. The wood isn't cracked or anything. Does this seem like something fun to use? Absolutely not. I hope the world does not get to the point where we have to use this. But I tell you what, you're gonna be ripped if you use one of these. This will be your arm, leg, and back day all in one for sure. So I paid $20 for this. As you can see, it's all solid. I'm whacking my picture here. It's in pretty good shape for as old as it is. Obviously the metal needs cleaned up and it definitely needs sharpened, but overall it's in good shape. For 20 bucks, if you were to buy one of these new from a place like Layman's, you're looking at almost $300 for this, guys. So definitely check out your antique stores. They are decently common. At one store I found 2 complete scythes and then one where it was just the handle. So they're out there if you want one. You just gotta look for it. But yeah, very cool and very handy for the emergency stockpile for sure. The next thing is very similar, same idea as far as harvesting plants. This is a sickle. This one's in pretty good shape. The handle is fairly sturdy. The metal's in good shape. It needs sharpened as well, but it's in a little bit better shape. I paid 10 bucks for this. I think brand new, a sickle's gonna be like 30. Again, these are just used to cut down plants. These are a little more labor intensive and you can only do a handful at a time, but these allow you to be a little more specific about what you're cutting if you need to go around like weeds and stuff. So I was happy to have this. This next thing is not super old. I probably wouldn't call it an antique. I don't know how old it is, but it's not that old. It's made out of plastic. It's a Italian-made Velox Super World patent pending. It's just a food processor, hand crank. I've actually been able to use this. I made some apple butter with it and it worked fabulously. There's a couple of pieces missing, like there's supposed to be a cup underneath here, I think. But you know, you can substitute with what you've got for this. 8 bucks, not bad and very useful. I like how it has the suction cup at the bottom so you can suction cup it to your counters. So handy for 8 bucks. The other big thing I got was one of those 2-man crosscut saws. So this, when I bought it, it was all put together, but whenever you store these, you're supposed to take the handles off and hang these by a nail on the wall. So that's what we did. But the handles are still in pretty good shape here, as you can see. Yeah, it was sturdy. And the saw blade itself is again in good shape. There aren't any broken teeth or anything. Again, it needs sharpened and cleaned up a little bit, but overall it's in really good shape. I paid $40 for this complete one. They had 2 others and I almost bought the other 2 as well, but it just wasn't really in the budget. This is handy if you need to build a log cabin out in the woods and you've got 2 strong men to work on it. And again, if you were to buy one of these brand new from a place like Layman's, you're looking at $300 again. So, and I think when I took the screenshots for this video, they're actually back ordered too, which is crazy. But yeah, I was really excited to find these and I'm still trying to decide if I need to go back and buy the other 2 or not, because for 40 bucks, I feel like that's pretty reasonable and these are in really good shape. I did also get a replacement blade. I'll show you that. So here is another blade I got. This one, yeah, so this was only 10 bucks for the blade itself, and it's the exact same size as the other one that I bought. Very similar, both in good shape, no broken teeth or anything, so just a backup in case that one breaks. For $16, I got a meat grinder. This is a keen cutter. This was patented in 1906, which is pretty cool. This is only 16 bucks. It's a tabletop. It's got the little grip here. And I think it's a complete kit. It's got 3 little attachments on the front here. And it's in good condition. I don't know how old it is, but for 16 bucks, I thought that would be good to have on hand. These next things, I don't think they're truly vintage either. Like this one is made in Hong Kong, so obviously not that old, but they're just little oil lamps. But we have some big glass oil lamps that are probably like well over a foot tall. And we've used those before and they're nice for power outages, but sometimes you just want a tiny little light to take with you like to the bathroom and stuff. And these come with the wicks and everything. These were both less than $10 a piece. These are handy and also adorable. They also had a Ziploc bag of these old hymnals, and I am a sucker for old books, especially if they have like a really worn down, ornate cover like this. But I didn't have any hymnals to add to my book collection, so these are all from the 1800s. As you can see, they have just this gorgeous old covers, and what I like about the school books is there's usually signatures inside. I don't think these have any signatures, but let's see, the date on this one is 1882. You can see on the bottom there. This one's definitely my favorite. This next one, it's dated 1883, and the binding on it is starting to fall off, but I love the fonts that they used back then. It's so pretty. This one's Christian Endeavor. Again, I love the way they wrote stuff back then. This one's dated 1891. And again, it's just got all these little songs in it. This one does have a signature, J.W. Wallace. Super pretty. And this one's not so fancy, but it's still super old. Songs of Faith, Hope, and Love. So it looks like these were all owned by the same person, which is pretty cool. Let's see. This one is copyright 1883 as well. Yeah, this one's probably in the best shape out of all of them, which is surprising if it went to a Sunday school. So yeah, these books, they literally just sit on a shelf in my office where I can look at them. And up next, these were only $1 a piece, but what caught my eye was it was a print of the horse fair, and this is one of my favorite paintings of all time. These came out of a book that was copyright 1915, and they just have these adorable prints of famous paintings, and I chose all the ones that were of farm scenes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some old frames at Goodwill that fit these and just hang them up in my office. I just think they're really pretty, and I like how they're different style of paintings, but they all match because they're all the sepia tone. So my favorite item out of everything that I've bought the past couple of months is this guy right here. So this is supposedly sterling silver. It doesn't look it, you know, it needs cleaned up, and it was $12. And I have this rule that if something catches my eye, I've never seen one before, and it's less than $20, I go ahead and buy it. So that's what caused me to buy this thing. So the tag on this said it was an incense burner, and as you can see, there's like little sheep or goats on the side. We've got this little prong thing here, and then we have this cow finial on the top, which the cow, he's seen better days. He's about to break off. But you open it up, and this is what the inside looks like. And it's funny because I did a little bit of research to figure out what this was, and it's not actually an incense burner. What it is it's a butter serving dish. So what you would do is you would open this up, you'd put ice down here, you'd put this on the top, and then you'd put your homemade butter and you'd shove it in there, and that way it keeps your butter cool, but without it getting wet from the melting ice. And over here on this side, these are smushed. They're supposed to be out like this, but this is where you would set your knife for you to spread your butter. So I thought that was really cool. I like the idea of having a butter server a lot better than an incense burner. I don't do the incense thing. Yeah, and I guess this is early 1900s. So yeah, guys, that was everything I've bought recently on my antiquing adventures. Thank you so much for joining me today. Antiquing is for sure my favorite winter sport. I'm sure I'll be going again sometime before the mad rush of spring starts around here. If you've gone antiquing lately, comment down below and let me know what you got. I would love to hear it. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It's a free way to help my channel out, and I appreciate it so much. If you want to see more videos like this, along with gardening, homesteading, and poultry, be sure to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.